What time is it there in Iceland?
It is 6 o'clock now here in Iceland, so late.
It's 6 p.m.
6 p.m. Yep.
I love
Yeah.
it. You're like, I have a big training day. It's so late. Like, what time do you go to bed?
I've been trying to go to bed now at like 9:30, but before I was actually going to bed around 10:30 or 11 because here in Iceland there's like no daylight, or sorry, there is daylight all day. There's no darkness. So when I go to bed, it's still like light out. So it's like really hard to like turn off your body and your system and go to sleep at a normal time because when you look outside it looks like it's like in the middle of the day.
It's so creepy. I've
Yeah.
been to Alaska and been in that. I've never been to Iceland, but I don't know how you do it. If you can see how bright my house is, we have sunlights everywhere, and I wake up as soon as I see light. So
Yeah.
I'm always telling my wife, I'm like, we need to black out everything because I need to sleep in. But
Yeah.
she's a morning person, so she's like, this is great. What
I'm
can
lucky
we do?
that I have blackout curtains all in my apartment. So, but if I don't close the blinds and then I wake up to like go to the bathroom and then I'm like completely thrown off because I walk outside of my bedroom, which is pitch black, and then it's like fully light out. And I'm like, what time is it? It's like 3 a.m. in the morning.
Freaky, freaky.
Yeah.
I work in Las Vegas a lot, and my shows, I'll get off stage at like midnight, and I'll get back to my room, and I'll go to bed, and I'm like maybe by 2, and I'm like, I want to sleep in tomorrow. And
Hmm.
I will work with the curtains. Like I will tape things, I will clamp them. I'm going to start traveling with clamps that they use on movie sets because if the littlest sliver of light can get through the curtains, that like beam of light will wake me up. It's really creepy.
Wow. I'm not that crazy, but I can do with maybe a little sliver of light.
No one's as crazy as me. But I don't know if you've had this. I you're in one place. When I travel and I'm in a different hotel every week, I wake up sometimes in the middle of the night and don't know where I am when it's really dark. Like I'm in
Oh,
somewhere really
that's
dark.
happened to me before. I feel like that's happened to everyone. You just like wake up and you're like, "Where am I?" And you're like, "Oh, yeah, I'm here." Like you completely forget for a moment where you are.
Where you like sit and try to figure it out. You're like, okay, yesterday I got on a plane. I went to, is it St. Louis? Am I in St. Louis? And sometimes I'll like run to the door and open the door to kind of figure out, okay, okay, I'm in this hotel. Uh, I've read Matthew Walker's book, Why We Sleep,
Mhm.
a- and he says in it that when you sleep in a hotel room, when you're not in your regular bed, that only half your brain sleeps. Like it's like a dog
Oh, that's crazy.
or
I
like
didn't
a
know that.
dolphin. Yeah, it's not healthy at all to do what I do, to be like in a different place every week. I think what you're doing, like where you're there for a while, that's fine.
Mhm.
But when you're in a different place every single week, I I basically
Well,
haven't
I have
slept.
a games training camp coming up in Michigan before the game, so we leave July 13th, so we're going to be sleeping in a different place for 2 weeks. So hopefully my brain isn't half asleep at night and it's fully sleeping.
I shouldn't have told you that. Now it's in your head. You're gonna be like,
Yeah.
"Oh God, I'm only half sleeping."
Yeah.
I think it was something though. Yeah, I think he says like half your brain sleeps, and because I think it's, is it dolphins that only half their brain sleeps? They like lay on the, because they've got to be like aware of what's going on when they're in the ocean, and so they can't sleep because predators could get them. So half their brain sleeps and half is like totally active,
I
and then
had
they
no
switch.
idea.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's
Did you
crazy.
know? Did you know that giraffes, when they're born, get up and walk?
Like right away when they're born,
Yeah,
like immediately
yeah,
they start walking.
yeah.
I didn't know that either. Wow, I'm learning so much on this podcast.
Okay, I just learned it maybe 6 months ago, and I've been doing jokes about it on stage because I'm like, why do we talk about like humans being the greatest, the smartest species when giraffes don't have to take care of their kids? They're like, hey, good luck, see ya. That was great.
See
You
you
just got up and
later.
walked. Yeah,
Wow, I'm learning a bunch of new things.
I mean, a human doesn't walk for a year.
That's like insane.
I know, and we never talk about giraffes. No one ever talks about them. I think
I
it's
know.
the only I think it's the only like mammal that does that too. That like gets up and walks away.
Well, maybe because giraffes are so big, like when they give birth, like the baby giraffe is pretty much like all the bones and everything are like fully, not fully grown,
Okay.
but that's maybe why they're able to walk.
It's pretty awesome.
That's my theory.
I would think they would be the last to walk because of how lanky they are, that they would be like, "Oh, wow, how does this work?" And just, like, how you see people, like when you're younger, tall people were a little awkward in the beginning, but then, they develop later and usually are like, basketball players are really good. But in the beginning, it's like, oh, look, here he comes. You're going to put him on your team.